The bank was able to step up to the plate in a number of areas on the float of QR National and in the process bring all the capability of the bank into the transaction. This was Australia's largest float in over 20 years and we performed multiple roles in the process. QR National privatisation has been a tremendous outcome for all parties concerned. You know, when they debuted, they were a $7 billion company and now today the market capitalisation is over $8 billion.
How does Australian stevedoring stack up these days? I mean, obviously there was a bit of a step change in the way it operated 10 years ago. Has it fallen behind now or is it keeping up?
Look, I think we are a large customer of Australian stevedoring
and stevedoring around the world, actually.
And stevedoring around the world. I would say that on balance it's okay. Are we seeing the same level of efficiency and improvement that perhaps we did 5 years ago? I'm not so sure. But I've got to say that we really judge the quality of the stevedoring activities that we engage with around how quickly we can get into a port, pick up a container and then remove that container. And there absolutely isn't any deterioration of that in the ports that we're operating in. So it more goes to, I guess, the ships that are servicing various ports, and that gets us to the channel deepening situations here in Victoria, or in Melbourne, which were very important to us, or we think the port would have started to slip behind. But no, generally speaking, I think they're okay. But
what about compared to other ports around the world, some of the best ports in the world?
Well, they certainly have an ability to move goods on and off the port more efficiently, and I think that goes more to rail than anything else. And Australians are grappling with whether or not they want to run trains on and off ports. I think generally they do. They certainly don't want trucks in and out of ports, particularly in built-up areas. So I think there are some sort of infrastructure questions that need to be answered, and it's not until they're answered will Australia sort of be back to sort of world's best practice.
In fact, do you think that there's a case now for a holistic look at Australian freight so that it's sort of seen as an entire network?
Well, I think Australia is an island and we're a global trader, and we simply have to be close to world's best practice if we're going to survive in the way we handle our logistics. So I don't think there'd be any harm in reassuring ourselves that we're not falling behind our neighbours.
Does world's best practice include having a third operator in all the ports?
No, look, I'm sympathetic to that argument of not having one. The huge costs associated with the materials handling equipment needed to fund these ports is very difficult to justify spread across 3 operators, in my opinion. If it's not broken, don't fix it. I'm not sure that additional competition is going to be good. I think we might see a reduction in capital expenditure, which would be in fact the wrong outcome.